I want to be a doctor.
I want to be a nurse.
I want to be a teacher.
I want to be a presenter on TV.
I want to be a policeman.
I want to become an engineer.
I want to be a doctor.
There's no shortage of children aspiring to be mechanics and doctors and teachers, but for 31 million kids in sub-Saharan Africa, the opportunity to even access a school simply doesn't exist. That's where Building Tomorrow comes in. Building Tomorrow was founded in 2006 to help rehabilitate a school that had fallen apart. Today, we've partnered with more than 30 colleges and universities in the United States, received 35 acres of donated land in Uganda, counted over 200,000 hours of volunteer labor, and built 10 academies in Uganda, each with room for 325 students. Last year, Building Tomorrow made a commitment to build 60 academies and invest heavily in the quality of education for over 18,000 youth by 2016. Construction and site planning are underway for 5 additional sites, putting us a quarter of the way towards achieving the goals we set forth at CGI.
As long as there are children in our world with a desire to learn and no place to do so, we will continue building tomorrow.
We are going to now have 2 commitment announcements and 1 progress report, and then we'll go on with the panel. I'd like to invite to the stage George Soror of Building Tomorrow, whose video you just saw a moment ago, Raj Fernando, an active supporter of CGI and from Chicago, Chopper Trading, Joe Chiani of Masimo Corporation, Pedro Torres Picón of the Torres Picón Foundation. More than half of Uganda's population is under the age of 15. In fact, I believe it is the 2nd fastest growing country in the world. The average family has 7 children. Apropos of the speech we just heard, the only thing that works to moderate population growth throughout the world without engendering enormous controversy across all religious and cultural lines is to put all the girls of the world in school and give all the young women access to the labor market. So if you are looking for a laboratory of whether Africa's growth can be broadly shared to countries that don't have it, and whether a country can reach its more or less natural population level, it would be hard to find a better lab than Uganda. Building Tomorrow supports Ugandan education by partnering with local communities to construct Building Tomorrow academies. They serve 325 students each. They cost about $60,000 to build. That's less than a third of what the government spends to build schools for the same number of people, and they get community buy-in. If it sounds like I know what I'm talking about, it's because I've actually been to one of the schools. It's very impressive to see how the people at the local level feel that they own the school. And it's very important because they build the schools in these really poor areas with private sanitary conditions for the teachers, which is probably the most critical factor in whether smart young female teachers will actually go into rural Rwanda and teach in these schools. And I saw 2 classes with teachers that I would have been thrilled to teach my daughter when she was their age. They were amazing. So this is a very big deal. These philanthropists and corporate leaders, along with Rumi Virji of the Rumi Foundation, a Ugandan British citizen who lives in London and who is unable to join us today, went with me this summer on a trip to Uganda. We did see the academies, and inspired by Mr. Soror's work, 4 of them are now committing a total of $500,000 to support these efforts, with Mr. Torres Picón's contribution given in remembrance of his sister, Cecilia Torres Picón. This commitment will enable Building Tomorrow to significantly scale their programs, expanding access to quality education and community-built schools. I want to be quite explicit here. If the government of Uganda has to build these schools themselves under the model they're using, it will take them forever and a day to get universal education in rural areas. If Building Tomorrow can go build the schools, the government of Uganda will pay the salaries of the teachers and make sure they are trained when they get to the areas. This is a question of saving years, not only in the lives of all the children affected, but in the progress of the country itself. This is a great NGO because it fits perfectly into a strategy that the country has that cannot be implemented in a reasonable amount of time unless somebody else moves in and builds these schools with more community buy-in at lower cost to accelerate the dispersal of the teachers out of places like Kampala into the country as a whole. This is a fabulous deal. And somehow, when he was a young man, George Soror found Uganda. And he never let it go, and I am profoundly grateful. So let's give them a big hand. Thank you.